fourth graders, and welcome back. I am Mrs. Lamondo here to talk to you all about geometry. Last time we were together, we talked about how to classify triangles by side. Today we're moving in how to classify them by angles. If you feel really good about identifying cute little angles, right angles, and obtuse angles, then I think you're going to find this lesson super easy. All right, first, let's check out a little video that will talk to us about how to classify triangles by angle.
Classifying triangles based on angle properties. Remember that a polygon is a closed two-dimensional shape and made up of line segments only. Triangles are polygons with 3 sides and 3 angles. Like other polygons, triangles have many properties, and they can be classified based on these properties. Here, we will look at angle properties for triangles. As we learned before, there are 3 types of angles: right, obtuse, and acute. Let's take a look at this triangle. Notice that this angle is a right angle. If a triangle has a right angle, then we call it a right triangle. So this triangle is a right triangle. Here's another triangle. As you can see, in this one, we have an obtuse angle which is larger than the right angle. Also, if a triangle has an obtuse angle, then we call it an obtuse triangle. What about this triangle? As you can see, it has no right angles or obtuse ones. All of its angles are acute. This type of triangle is called an acute triangle. Now, let's look at the following group of triangles and try to classify them into right, obtuse, or acute triangles. This one is a right triangle, since it has a right angle here. While this one is an obtuse triangle, because it has an obtuse angle within it. This triangle is an acute one, since all its angles are smaller than a right angle. This one is also an acute triangle. This might be hard to see, but it is a right triangle. We can use our right angle model to double check that this angle is indeed a right angle. This one is a right triangle as well, while this one is an obtuse triangle. Finally, this one is an acute triangle. In this lesson, you learned how to classify triangles based on the presence or absence of angles of a specified type, and identify right triangles.
All right, as I mentioned, I think this is actually going to be easier than our last lesson because so many of you really understand the difference between acute, right, and obtuse triangles. So let's check out some practice. Last time, we classified by side. Today, we're going to label each triangle as acute. All 3 of the angles are cute little angles. Right, meaning it has one angle that's a right angle, or obtuse, meaning it has one angle that is obtuse. So let's try it out. So here we see our first angle is acute. Why all three measurements are less than 90 degrees. None are greater than 90 degrees. Let's look at number 2. 48 and 42. Those are less than 90. Ooh, I see a little square in the corner. Think about what that means. Is this triangle acute, right, or obtuse? Let's pause and discuss. Triangle number 2 is definitely a right triangle because it has one right angle. Let's look at triangle number 3. It has two angles that measure 40 degrees and one that measures 100. That's a big angle. Is this triangle acute, right, or obtuse? Let's pause and discuss. If you guessed obtuse, you're right. It has one obtuse angle. That means it is an obtuse triangle. It only needs one angle that's right or obtuse to make it a right or obtuse triangle. Let's look at number 4. Ooh, I see that little box in the corner again. Think about what that means. Let's pause and discuss. Triangle number 4 is a right triangle because it has one right angle. Let's look at triangle number 5. We have two angles that are 54 and 24, and one that's 102. That's a big angle. What kind of triangle is this? Acute, right, or obtuse? Let's pause and discuss. If you guessed obtuse, you're right. 102 degrees makes it have one obtuse angle, which makes it an obtuse triangle. Let's look at triangle number 6. We have three angles, all of which are less than 90 degrees. Does that make this triangle acute, right, or obtuse? Let's pause and discuss. If you guessed acute, you are right because none of the triangles angles measure right or larger than a right angle. Let's look at triangle number 7. We have an angle that's 34 degrees, 49, and 97 degrees. Ooh, this is a tricky one. Is this triangle acute, right, or obtuse? Let's pause and discuss. Triangle number 7 is an obtuse triangle. That one angle that's 97 degrees is more than 90, which makes it obtuse. Let's look at triangle number 8. We have two angles that measure 50 degrees and one that's 80. Is this an acute, right, or obtuse triangle? This is an acute triangle. None of the angles measure larger than 90 degrees. Let's look at triangle number 9. We have one angle that's 26 degrees, one that's 64, and one with a square in the corner. Think about what that means. Let's pause and discuss. Triangle number 9 is a right triangle because it has one right angle. All right, let's practice 3 more. Triangle number 10 has an angle of 50, an angle of 40, and a square in the corner again. Let's think about what that means. Let's pause and discuss. Triangle number 10 is a right angle. The square in the corner means it is a 90-degree angle. Let's look at triangle number 11. We have an angle that's 38 degrees, one that's 55, and one that's 87. Is this an acute, right, or obtuse triangle? Let's pause and discuss. Triangle number 11 is an acute triangle. None of the angles measure larger than 90 degrees. And lastly, let's look at triangle 12. We have one angle measure of 30 degrees, one of 15, and one of 135. Is this an acute, right, or obtuse triangle? Let's pause and discuss. Triangle 12 is an obtuse triangle. That 135-degree angle makes it obtuse. Let's look at our Google form for today. Today, you will be looking at triangles and simply telling whether they are acute, right, or obtuse. Here is triangle 1, triangle 2, triangle 3, triangle 4, triangle 5, and triangle 6. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to check in with your teacher. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Bye.